The Temple of All Knowing, the 10th anniversary. It's absolutely an incredible read, as most of you have read. And I come to you this morning, not so much as a publisher, but as a friend. Lee has been a friend of mine, which is interesting. She's celebrating the 10th anniversary of her book, but I have also known her for 10 years. And she was, when we first met, someone that helped me tremendously. And because of her, I am doing what I do now. And I was just able to um, reach deep parts of myself that I didn't know that I could because of her. So again, I'm not so much here as a publisher, but as a friend and someone who loves her dearly. And I can't wait to hear and listen to all the beautiful stories that you have about her as we celebrate her 10th anniversary for her book. So welcome, Lee Papa. It's all yours.
Thank you, Adriana. And, I want to, number one, thank everybody for taking your time. I know we all have so many options in our day to spend it, right? And the fact that you have carved out this time to spend with me and for the purpose of this book means the world. And I do have my tissues because I know that's going to happen. So just thank you, everyone. I didn't really want to plan anything to say. And so as spirit works so beautifully, I saw a meme this morning and it talked about do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But it was a little different spin on that. It said, do what you love and you will work harder than anything you can imagine. You will work days, you will work nights, you will work weekends, you will work holidays because you want to bring that thing that you love to the world. And it takes that kind of effort to do it. And I have tried, as most of you know, I have tried to not do what I love because it is hard. It is hard to show up and keep moving forward and being vulnerable, really, especially in the work that we're talking about. But the fact that what it is that I love is spirit, creator, the divine universe, and the fact that we live with the access to this extraordinary energy. And I couldn't possibly live my life without knowing and living it intimately. And I want everybody to be able to have that and to experience that and to know that we do not die and that we only live. We have life and then we have life, and that there is no fear in that. So whatever it is that I do, whether it's working days or nights or weekends or holidays or missing events, it is because that message is so dear to me. And you all are a part of this journey for me, and I just cannot thank you enough for helping this message to get out to the world. So thank you.
We love you, my dear friend. And I just want to quickly ask, did anyone bring maracas?
Let me just drop in one more thing about Adriana. You say you're coming as a friend, and that means so much to me. This would not be happening without Adriana. But she's an extraordinary publisher. So all of you out there who want to write your books, this gal, you're going to see the authenticity, the creativity, the power that she brings, and the ease and grace with a journey that is very challenging to put out a book. Any of you who have put out books, you know, it's a lot of work. And I have this little sheet behind. Yeah, yes, Kenny Lee Lewis has written a book. which he's also endorsed my book, so you'll see his name on the back of the book. But over delivering on the options for the covers, and everything that I thought the cover I wanted was not the cover that we chose, because she thought out of the box and she brought in this beautiful, yummy cover that I'm so excited to have on the 10th anniversary edition. So Adriana, you are a star. Every time I would get on the phone with her or a Zoom, she would say, "Hi, rock star." "Hi, star." Just the energy that she comes with, you will feel. So enjoy her and our exchange today. So thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so
I have my
sweet.
water. I
Thank
don't have
you.
maracas.
Well, I want to talk to Pam. She is like the coolest because she does have maracas. I love it. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Pam. Thank you. So I definitely want to do roundtable. Wait, I think Kenny has some maracas too. Okay,
I
that's
think he has a
fantastic.
little bit more than maracas.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Tambourine.
tambourine, thank you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you so much. So Kenny did a wonderful endorsement for Lee's book in the back cover. Would love to start off with Kenny if he's okay with that, and in regards to his interactions with Lee and a little bit of how they both met. You are on mute, so if you want to unmute yourself, that would be great. Thanks, Kenny.
There we go. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Sorry. Yeah, we met through looking at property up in the mountains. I wanted to go fishing, and that was how we met. But then, of course, it went way beyond that, because my two passions in life, of course, are music, fishing, and writing. And we met with her wanting to kind of start a utopian sort of a place where people could go and clean their soul out and get healed and find their place in this world. And that right there was enough to impress me. And then that's when she shared with me her life, her life death experience, which was just an amazing story. And I was so taken by it. And I, of course, have, after that meeting her, I had fallen off stage in my act. I play with the Steve Miller Band, if anybody know that already. I'm a professional touring musician, but I fell off stage and almost died. And I went through a very similar, but not as serious as what she went through. She actually went through the end. So I just kind of briefly brushed it for a moment. But it really did change my life. It gives you a different perspective. And so that was my whole interest in her story. And then eventually went to her place in Las Vegas, which was the Institute. Is that correct?
I'm losing Kenny. I don't know if everybody else is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we
that's
can hear
better.
you better now. Yes.
Yeah.
Do I have to get louder? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, I was just explaining how I met Lee when we were up in the mountains, up at Three Rivers, looking at property for a utopian sort of a retreat where people could go and find themselves and get healed, and then do some fishing, because I'm a fisherman, avid fisherman. When I met her up there, but then later on, she told me her story about her life death experience, and then of course I went to her place in Las Vegas, which I think was called Ganesh. Is that correct?
Ganesha. Ganesha Center.
And I went there with my wife and my daughter, and we did a session, and then we heard some music. And so there's the music connection there too. So there's a lot of different things. But I was explaining how I had fallen off stage about 10 years ago and had almost, died, not from my injuries, but just from the very danger of what could have happened. But it just, being in bed for, a couple of months and healing and reflecting on that, I thought a lot about your experience, and I, had a completely different attitude about life, and my whole demeanor changed, my whole perspective about death changed. And so that's how we met, and that's how when she led me to this new book coming out, which is wonderful, The Temple of All Knowing, I basically just went, oh, I got to get into that. And it's been very, very interesting, and I'm just so glad to have been invited here. Thank you so much. But that's how we met, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Kenny. I want to give you a big hug. And please tell Diane I said hi and give her a hug for me as well. When you came to Ganesha Center, Paul and I just loved having you there. And
Come out in a minute. She would just
oh, good.
a meeting, but she might come out here in a minute. So.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you also for taking the time and doing this just lovely review on for the back cover. Thank you so much. All right, Paul, I know you were trying to get on earlier. You want to take a minute? Here, let's go ahead and unmute you real quick.
It looks like he's muted too.
Okay.
There you go.
Am I here? Yay.
Yes, you're good.
Well, first of all, I'm reeling from that meme, Lee, of course, about having, we work so hard for it. And it never even occurred to me until now. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day reflecting on that. It's amazing. But you can find out about my relationship with Lee by reading the foreword of the book, which I was honored to write, and get all the nitty gritty about our chance meeting, which of course wasn't a chance. But I have the honor of knowing Lee longer than you have. And every second of it, I have to tell you, has been absolutely the best time of my life. And I won't cry because I don't have Kleenex. That's probably why I didn't do it. But I also think now this is the perfect time, and I think Lee and I were talking about this last week, that the time again, like it was in 2008, 2009, for people to start looking at other avenues of healing. And in the world that everyone talks about is Orwellian, or the Twilight Zone, when Rod Serling's going to come and join us at any time, that we need to get back to some of these things that we haven't maybe thought about in 10 years. So I think this is a perfect time for that discussion to start again.
So true. So true. Thank you, Polly.
Of course.
I love you.
I love
Thank
you too.
Paul. It was, throughout the years, I've heard your name quite a bit. So I'm happy I get to see your face now.
I am now that we can put it all together, right?
Yes, it's so lovely. Thank you again.
It's a pleasure. And thank you for taking such good care of her. You've done a beautiful job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
All right. There is a little hand in the bottom if anyone wants to raise their hand, and we're going to go ahead and I see Dr. Orozco over there, who did some of the editing, did proofread for Lee. Here you go. Thank you for
And
joining us.
also, Adrienne, I'm just going to pop in. If anybody is short on time, and I want to honor and respect your time, if you need to get in and out, I totally get that. And if you want to raise your hand or jump in, please let us know if you're short on time.
Also, I should say something. Yes, I'm just enjoying. I am holding the space with unlimited love. I had this blessing, this privilege of going through the book in detail, and it is my first time. I haven't seen the book when it was first published, and it was something else. I realized, oh wow, I might be a member of her tribe. That's what my hope was at that moment. So maybe the connection was there, meant to be from the beginning. And I would do work with Adriana. I support her in some of the work for publishing. And I'm just, I can feel the love. So I am just so honored to be here, to have been invited. And Elise is something. It is something to get to meet you and to even speak to you. So I am most thankful. I am most happy, and I don't know. I am at your service, and maybe we will create things together in the future. Maybe new things will, as they continue to grow and start and keep growing. Maybe we will join ventures somehow. But it's just having met you, having gone through your book and gone through your work. It's something. It's just I cannot describe it. It's such a great thing, such an honor. So thank you. I love it. I love all of it. I love the opportunity to go through it, and it was sweet. It moved me to my heart, and as I commented in my review in Amazon, it just felt to me like a rendering of the soul on paper. It was just this very vulnerable, beautiful way of look at me. I am a human. Look what I have gone through, and look what that is teaching me about the powers I do have, even though I am vulnerable. So it was just so sweet. I love it. Thank you very much for sharing us with all of us.
Thank you. So
Alejandra,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much. Thank you. You're such a bright
Thank
light.
you.
And we will be
Thank
doing that Spanish version that we talked about.
All right. So next week, thank you so much. Love you, my dear friend. Paco, welcome.
Yes, hi Lee, hi everybody. Let's keep the Spanish track on, right? So, Lee, I finished reading The Temple of All Knowing just this morning, and I have to admit, frankly, I've had difficulties on how to address it today because I really wanted to. So I can say only thank you for the light corridor that shines through each single page of the book. That's how it felt to me. And yeah, life is filled with mountain valleys, with plateaus. Also for me, this is just how life is. However, I still remember back in 2015 meeting you for the very first time at the wellness launch in Vegas during the IMEX trade show. I do want to remember you during your offering when the lockdown was in 2020 pandemic. And you did that free of charge, at least for a time. I will not forget that. And now your book, and it really is, I feel the book, by reading the book, it simply put, it feels to me like a love affair with life, and really, I would say like a sanctuary of, to use your words, of self-love, self-mastery, and yes, self-observation. And so thank you for the precious gift of your friendship and for reaffirming to us, the readers. And I would love to hear what the others say. The commitment to show up every single day, and gosh, it's not easy sometimes, but the stakes are high, so not to miss life. So thank you for the gift of that, and yeah, thank you for illuminating all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Paco.
Thank you for the gift of you.
Maria. How are you? Oh, there you
There
go.
we
Oh, there it is. There's that beauty.
It's so pretty. It's just so pretty. Oh, Lee, I don't even know where to start with you. And I don't want to start because I don't have tissues either, Paul. So I'm just going to say, when you were talking about, I know you were kind of sort of toying with the idea in the beginning of re-releasing it, making it a 10th anniversary. It was kind of like a no-brainer. Like this, especially at this time in humanity right now, where there's just so much that people need to search for than what's out there. And I think that I had made a comment to you that you don't really have to have a near-death experience to learn what's in this book. And what you shared is something, it should be almost a requirement for like any school, any meditation group, anything. It's just, this is, I don't know how to put it in words. This is, first of all, it's a very, like someone had mentioned, very vulnerable. That's a great word. Sharing that with people. I think sometimes people are afraid to put themselves out there and to say, what is all this about? And can someone help me and give me a perspective in my own life of all this stuff that's happening and how to live a better life? And it's simple, but it's not always easy. And you're a champion. I mean, I've seen you at your worst. I've seen you struggling like all the rest of us. You're my champion. I mean, I could not can see myself being as strong as you are. You are just, that's all I can say. You're my champion, and I'm so proud of you for sharing this with everyone. And I hope that, I just wish you just the best in everything, because you deserve it.
That's so beautiful, Maria. Thank you so much. That's so lovely. Tamia,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for inviting me to this special session. So I am in the hospitality industry. So I think like Paco, I came across Lee at a conference or a convention or at IMEX. I think it was a client event where she was debuting her wellness room. And I've always been interested in self-care, but obviously in the hospitality business, as Lee has told all of us, that we don't ever slow down. We just keep going, 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 going. So when I had attended her session, I was really drawn to her, the genuineness in it, the calmness, the way I felt after just one meditation session with her, with a whole group of people that I didn't even know. It was such a wonderful feeling that I kept wanting more and more and more of Lee and trying to learn from her. And this was all pre-COVID. So I struggled trying to get into a meditation practice, and Lee helped me get there. And then with that, I had a very difficult couple of years before COVID with my father, who was very ill and then had since crossed over. But if I didn't have that strength of trying to take care of myself day in and day out, I probably wouldn't have fared as well as I did at the end of that when I finally had to say goodbye to his physical being. And I thank Lee for that, because I was able to be present for him. I was able to be an advocate for him. I was able to love him and be by his side. And then when we entered COVID, it was a whole nother gamble of what we were doing. And like Paco mentioned, having the live meditations where all of us could be on there, introducing us to different products that help benefit your life. I personally have been taking Lividin ever since you introduced it to me, and knock on wood, never got COVID. I haven't been sick since I started this. So it's just absolutely amazing. And when I read that book, it had triggered something in my head the first time I read it, because I always felt growing up that somehow I felt like I almost had like ESP, or if I knew something, or I was connected to something because the way things would work out. And then after I read your book, I'm like, oh, wow, if I really start to tap into this, I might be able to figure out more of what this whole journey is all about. So fast forward, COVID's over, get back into the whole work thing, crazy busy. I kind of dropped off that self-care. And all of a sudden, like at the end of last year, I'm like, okay, I got to get back on track. So I had chats with Lee and everything like that. And, she helped me kind of visualize what was going to happen this year. And then when I had the opportunity to read the book again, when I got done, I was like, oh my God, I have the energy again. I have the light again. I can visualize, dreams that I want to do. And none of that mindset that I have now is all because of you. And I love you. And you've just always been someone I know that I can go to when I need help. So thank you.
Thank you, Tamia. I love you too, honey.
That's beautiful, Tammy. Thank you so much. Jerry, how are you? Get you on mute. And there you go.
Can you hear me?
How's it going?
I'm great. But first, before we start, I have a confession to make. I have not yet read the book.
That's okay.
Don't judge me.
No, but you're on the book because Jerry is my photographer.
Yes.
And extraordinary photographer. Yes. That photo and all the photos that I have used in over the last several years, right? It was pre-COVID when we did that. 2020, I think.
Yes, it did. So we're due for a revival.
Yes, but you bring out the best in people on the page. Extraordinary gift you have.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And so the reason I'm here is because my connection to Lee, and I can't remember exactly when we met the first time, but for sure it was about a spiritual connection. We talk about intuition. And so that one of the reasons why I'm able to bring things out of people, because I was given the gift of the third eye. I'm an intuitive and an empath. I don't practice it, but I use it, if that makes sense. And so I pretty much I go in people's souls and find the truth and paint the outside of them with what they're made of. And typically that's when people say, oh, that's the first time I like a picture of myself. And I say, well, that's because I didn't allow you to hide. So people show up. And so how this connects to the ether, afterlife, the invisible, and all of those things, which little side note, I had a conversation with a skeptic not too long ago who, because I said something, I had saw something in her friend of hers. And when I said to her, oh yeah, I went to this experience with your friend, she goes, excuse my French, but this was direct quote, Jerry, you know I don't believe in that shit, right? And I said, well, I know, that's okay. I said, but do you believe in animal instinct? She goes, yeah, of course. I said, how different is it? We're part of the same system. And so because we don't, the skeptics don't believe in the invisible. I'd never shared this with you, Lee, but my mom had a near-death experience that she shared with me later in life. And she was pregnant. And we didn't know, so I was 7, 8 years old, whatever it was. And my dad found her on the floor in the bedroom hemorrhaging. All we knew is my mom went to the hospital. That's it. So I never knew the details till later. And so she went through the tunnel. She saw the lights and she felt comfort. And she met people she sensed she knew, but knew she hadn't met yet. Ancestors, whoever it was, she didn't identify, she didn't go deep in it. Nonetheless, as she was going through, and she said it felt so good and so wonderful, and she was going through, and suddenly she stopped. She said inside her experience, she screamed, no, 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 I have to take care of my children. I need to take care of my children. And she pulled back just as my father was calling her name. And so I've always believed in and knew about the invisible, knew about energies, knew about the connections that we don't see, but we feel. The unfortunate thing is that we've lost our way, and when Lee and many others, I'm sorry, I don't know any of you, so nice to meet you all. When you do this kind of work, you get to experience things and trust and believe that even though you don't understand it, because that's the flaw of humanity. Well, it has to make sense. I don't understand it. It has to make sense. They have to put a label on it. You have to identify it and frame it. I say, well, sometimes we don't need a frame. Let the masterpiece just shine without a frame. In fact, it makes stretch the canvas that much wider, more bolder. Why not? Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking forward to reading all of this, but because I know you so well, and because I also believe in the ether, and because I know we're part of all this, I'm very much looking forward to what you've put in there and your journey, my friend.
Thank you, Jerry. That was beautiful.
My pleasure.
And I would love for you to be my photographer too.
Oh yeah. Amazing.
Come on down, baby.
Las Vegas, everybody.
Yes. I did see, is it Karen? It's a PK Karen earlier.
PK.
PK?
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Thank
honey.
you. Yeah, so I appreciate being here. Thank you, Lee. And, I've had the privilege of knowing a few of you here, Paco and Paul in person. And anyway, thank you. I met Lee about 5 years ago, this time, and she wrote an article in Industry Magazine, the meeting industry. And I was so taken by her message that I sent her an email, and half hour later she called me, and 90 days later she's at my house for a week. So it was just one of those serendipitous things. And we've had many adventures since then. But I have to say, reading the book,
put all the pieces together of all the stories that Lee has shared over the time that I've known her, and it just resonated, for all the reasons that people have already stated. We can be so much more than we are, and we don't have to go through a near-death experience to really, grab onto life. But she's become a part of our family, and she's that guiding part of my conscious that just helps direct when sometimes there just doesn't seem to be an answer. I can't say enough about her. I love her to pieces. So thank you for including me here.
PK, my soul sister. I love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, PK. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Pam, I want to hear your maracas.
Where's Pam?
Here you are. I love festive.
These were a gift to me. They even have my name on them.
Oh wow,
They
they're
gave it to me
beautiful.
years ago. They sit on my shelf in the guest room. And also, Lee, I wanted to show you this.
Oh. I have a thing for pine cones.
Yes. I picked some up the other day, and they were in a bag, and I thought to grab one. Anyway, Lee and I met years ago when she was a real estate agent and I was a mortgage loan officer, and talk about, just the way it's just was meant to be. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyway,
I didn't think this was going to be a cry fest, but
to think back to when we were networking in the same networking group, and to experiencing all that together, and the collapse and everything basically of that industry, and then running or having that meeting with you again, and you saying, I'm starting something else, and you're going to be a part of it. And so I was there at the beginning with Reiki by Lee. And one of the things that you talked about in your book was when you would need, three different signs to confirm things. And within that short period of time after talking with you, 2 more times I heard the word Reiki and I'd never heard of this before until then. And so to see and experience and be a part of that, and to be blessed by your knowledge and what you share all along the way. And even though there were times where we weren't really totally in touch with each other, and then we get back, we'd start communicating again, and then I would ask for help. And you always are able to, with your guidance, pull me back in again and bring me back to where, and I know it's me too. I'm not just saying it's just you, but you're the one that is the impetus to make that happen. And I remember reading the book the first time and just how well written it is, and remembering how quickly I was able to read the book, because I'm not a quick book reader. And it just flowed so well. And I was also, very, I guess, hungry at the time too. When I was reading, I was learning so much about all of that, and to experience that and read it, and I just couldn't wait to get through and hear more about what you've experienced, and the things that you shared. And again, to see and to be a part of all this has just been fabulous. And I'm so grateful.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. And thank you for being a part, and everyone, because we all are a part of each other's lives and we all support each other. It's hard for me to receive in this manner. But thank you.
Love you.
I love you too.
Thank you, Pam. We appreciate you. Janette. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful.
So, I love hearing all these stories. It's so fascinating and exciting. I met Lee about 2.5 years ago through Australian Shepherds. So she has Blue. We had there was this instant resonance when I met her. You know, certain people you just instantly gravitate towards. So we had that initially, and we chatted a few times on and off, not anything too in depth. So her not knowing my background, I've been a spiritual seeker for about 40 years. So it's been a long journey. Um, and she had introduced me to her business model, which I absolutely adore and love. And then she mentioned the Temple of All Knowing, and I was way excited. I have been on an NDE journey for the past year. So when she reached out, I couldn't believe it. I was like, that is spirit working. It's magic right now. I got the book. I was highly anticipating it. And just like a few of the other reviews, I could not stop reading it. And then I had to stop and wanted to start savoring it because it was so good. I felt like I was literally living a parallel life with Lee during some of her events in her book. It was so relatable, so raw and real that it was by far one of the best ones I've read so far. And I've read quite a few. It was just, I felt like I was in the journey with her. And if I could truly feel, and that's the biggest part of reading a book, that you can truly feel and be in that moment with that person. It was so well done. So many messages in that book that answered a lot of questions that I had. Lee's amazing. I gotta say, she's got a strong spirit, and I just love you to death, Lee. I think it's amazing what you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janette. Thank you so much. And you just dropped into my head because, you know, this work isn't for everyone, right? Talking about near-death experiences,
No.
and especially since I really I jump both sides, right? The meetings and events industry. So we're talking about mindfulness and meditation and stress relief, and then the part of me that is the near-death experience and speaking raw about that. But when somebody drops into my consciousness like that, and I knew to do that with you, and when you responded so quickly, I was like, oh, thanks, right? Thank you for that message.
And I did kind of cheat. I sent her reviews super early. I had to email her right after I finished the book. I was like, I know I'm cheating, but I have to tell you how I feel about this. That book just lingered in my heart, and it still does. It's still hanging around in there. And I remember little moments, and I just start laughing, or, you know, it's just so good. So thank you.
Thanks, Hen.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Janette.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me so much. Thank you.
Erica, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. Good to see everyone. It's been really fun listening to everything, and it's been quite the journey of knowing Lee through the years. I met Lee, I think 2013. I think that was the first year, right? So I'm in the events industry, and I was part of the launch team for IMEX America. And so I was asked by their educational person, I think I want to bring somebody in that does Reiki or something. She had no idea what Reiki was about. She just was throwing it out there. And so a friend of mine, I knew to reach out to, and he suggested Lee. And the thing that at that time in the events industry, everybody was doing yoga and downward dog in the middle of the hallways. Nobody knew what meditation was all about. And it was so joyous for me to hear a year later, after Lee was introduced, and she was introduced lightly the first year. The second year was general session and all these wellness things, interactions. And I was hearing a buzz like no other in this huge convention of thousands of event planners. And I was just so joyous that she changed the world. And she has, whether it was just, you know, people thinking meditation and not connecting it with Lee Papa, but really, Lee, you've changed the world. And so I'm really joyous to know you. I read this book now for the second time. I'm connected in every way on that book. except for I'm not intuitive like you. I have intuition, but not intuitive like you. And I don't have a son, but everything is like, I meant to have read that book again. And I just love you to death.
Thank you, Erica. You know I love you to death too. To life. I love you to life.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Erica. That was beautiful. I see Pam. How are you today, Pam?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Hi, everyone. So I read the first book, Lee, and I felt it was early on in my journey when I first met you, had only known you for a few years, and I almost felt angry, not at you, but like there was a lot of hurt and emotion in it. But when I read the book this time, and part of it might be because I'm going through some similar things with my mother, but it was lovely. It made me feel more compassion for my mom as I'm going through her events. And I don't know, it was just very different this time. But I appreciate the opportunity to read it again and remind myself of not only your journey, but our journey together, because you've been a great friend always, through good times and bad times. And hi, Paul. But I so appreciate and cherish our friendship. And thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, honey. And hopefully the second book was better written. I said to Adriana, I was mortified when I read it again the first time, and I was like, oh my God, I actually put my name on that. Hopefully a much better writer 10 years later. And thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you,
it
honey.
was very nice. I love you too. And I love the cover. I love the new cover.
Yes, Miss Adriana. A great cover.
Thank you, Pam. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Zuma, you're here twice. Oh, let's unmute you real quick. There you go.
Oh, can't hear you. Can't hear you, honey.
I hear you.
Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay!
There you go.
Lee, I love you, Lee. You did an amazing job on the book. Polly, I love you. I see some people here that I've kind of heard about throughout the years. Adriana, thank you so much for having Lee once again. Bless us with her knowledge and making this book happen. The book was amazing. I know everybody's talking a lot about Lee. I just happen to think the world of Lee, and I'm just so grateful that through this book, she'll be able to reach more people. Because as you guys know, and anybody that gets to know her, you get enlightened, you become a brighter light through knowing her and knowing some of these techniques and knowledge that she has. And I'm so grateful and I feel so blessed that I've been able to walk with Lee and get to know Paul as well. We go back all the way to 2010. So I've really had an opportunity to share so much with Lee. We've walked in this 3D world through some good and bad times. I think the book did an amazing job at helping us get through some of these things that the 3D life kind of brings to us. But Lee, I just want to tell you, because of you, even here as I'm sitting in my tax office, I have been able to be a bright light to those people that come, through just everyday people trying to make it through their way. They might not be enlightened, but just through sitting here and, preparing their taxes, we get to go through conversations that so many things that you have taught me, I'm able to pass on to them and empower them, even if it's just for that day, give them hope. We could just be normal people and bring light to this world. And I'm just looking forward to, I feel like this book, Lee is just such an amazing writer. Everybody knows that, reads her things. She just has it. It comes out of her pores. And so my only wish and that I always send out into the universe is a bigger audience for Lee Papa, because we need it more than ever now, as we know, everything that's going on in the world. And I just feel like more than blessed that I've been able to walk side by side. We both have sons that are similar ages. We've gone through adventures together, and just, I can't even say enough about it. I get a little teary-eyed because of you. I'm just able to be a light no matter what circumstance I'm in. I feel happy about life. I'm able to accept things as they are and understand that I have, all the potential to do everything that I want. And it makes me reach every single day for something more, whether we talk on a daily basis or once a month. I promise you that your light and what you have shown me and what I've learned, even from the days at the Ganesha Center and being around people like Polly and you, have just made me become a light in my community. I work a lot with the Hispanic community. And so, I still dream of the day that we could, get a bigger audience for Lee so she could touch even more people. So thank you for blessing us once again. I love you so much, my darling. Thank you for helping me heal, through times of sickness, for giving me hope. I don't know what to say, I know,
You know what to
I
say.
just want the world to know who my Lee Papa is. The world needs to know because everybody needs that light. And I know, and we all know that you protect that light with everything you've got. And I just want a bigger stage for you, my darling, because you deserve to shine and brighten everybody's life.
Zoma, thank you, honey. I love you
Thank you.
so much. Talk about a bright light.
Polly, love you.
One of my biggest cheerleaders. This girl is always a cheerleader. What I love about something that you said, though, Zoma, is that we can be anywhere in our jobs, no matter what our professions or our jobs are, and do this work, embody this work, be this work. And that's how we change the world, just by showing up every day and being the light that we are and being open and vulnerable in that, to say, hey, yes, I believe in the light. I believe in energy. I believe in God. I believe in the creator. I live for that. And you do that. Thank you. Thank you, Zoma.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thanks for being here and joining us today.
Thank you, Adriana.
So we have two more
Thank you, Adriana.
people. Oh, you're welcome. So we have two more people, Karen and Jamie, and we'll wrap it up, and then we'll end with Lee saying a few words. And let's go ahead and go with Karen.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lee.
I used to babysit Karen.
I was just going to say, I think I win because I've known you since 1976.
Wow.
Which is when I was born.
Love you, girl.
Yeah, same. And I just want you to know, I don't know if you knew how much you meant to me when you lived in LA. You were like the big sister I never had. And I just felt such mentorship and companionship from you during that time. And then you went off and did your thing in Vegas, and we lost touch. And I regret that we lost that time, but it was nice to reconnect with you. And reading the book was like getting to know where you've been and what you did and what had been happening to you. So that was just very impactful. And apart from knowing you, it was just I don't want to say a fun read because that's so condescending, but it was a enjoyable read, and I couldn't put it down. And I'm so excited for you, and I'm so glad that we're in touch again. And I also did coaching with you, spiritual coaching, and that was really powerful. So thank you for that as well. And I love you, and I'm so proud of you, and it's so nice to be in your life.
Thank you, Karen.
Awesome.
That was
Had to
beautiful.
unmute myself there. Thank you, Karen, honey. That was beautiful. Thank you.
I think you did beat us, right? Because that's 40 years.
47 and a half.
I know, I'm 1975, so I was like, whoa.
I was 2 when I babysat you.
Right, you're not.
Okay, and last but not least, Jamie.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for the invite here today. It's wonderful meeting everybody and seeing everybody. Well, here, I'll give you
Oh, I love
I got a
it.
little shaker for you too.
The
So,
shakers, yes.
so, you know, we go back, Maria and I go back a little bit with Lee. Maria's known her longer than I have. Maria remembers taking Reiki from Lee and that whole journey into the Ganesha Center and meeting Paul. And the book, I'm gonna be brief because you all have made such amazing comments and stories, and we all know how amazing Lee is. Yes, she is. She's a force. She's a force of nature. She is a light. Yes, she is a champion. The thing that hits me with Lee is that she has an unwavering faith. And that is something that rereading the book is such a great reminder that we need to keep that faith strong in our hearts, in our being, because it's very easy to lose our way in this physical world. It's very, very easy. Just driving down the street, right? Someone cuts you off in traffic, or someone runs a red light, or someone does this. It's very, very easy to get our backs up, get our reactions up. So I think for me, a couple of things really resonated me in the book is that, number one, we all have problems. Everybody goes through life with problems, right? It's how we deal with those problems that really matters. And Lee always has that connection to spirit, to the creator. And it's a big reminder to me that that's where we need to go. That's where we need to center ourselves on, because that's what's always available to us. At every second, every moment of the day, the creator's available to us. You know, whoever we pray to, whether that's Holy Spirit, whether we pray to Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, whoever, all of the masters that we've had, that we have available to us, whoever we pray to, they're always available to us. And rereading the book is just such a great reminder to me that all of that is available to us. And the second big thing is that there is absolutely no need to be afraid of death. Lee is one of a few people that I know that have had near-death experiences. And it's such a constant, a consistent message of, I felt so amazing over there. I felt so safe. There was so much love for me there. So those are just a couple of thoughts that I wanted to share today. Thank you for allowing me to be here, and it's wonderful meeting all of you. And Lee, congratulations, you rock. You're an amazing individual, and Maria and I both are so honored and pleased to have you in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. You and Maria are such bright lights in my life. It's like I dedicated the book to you, right? You all will see that dedication, and just so deeply grateful. Thank you. Adriana, did you want to say
I was just
anything,
looking
or
at
do
the
you want me to
book.
wrap up?
I was looking at the dedication. I'm like, that's true. That is so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for showing up today. I'm moved and touched, and absolutely grateful from the bottom of my heart that you've taken and carved out this time to celebrate this amazing human being that we all know. And I know she doesn't like a lot of the attention, and she doesn't like a lot of this, what's going on here, but I really feel that she is one of those power women that must be celebrated, that must be, placed in at some moment in time. I told Lee, there's got to be celebration. And like Azuma said earlier, right, the more people can hear her message and can listen to her wisdom and benefit the way that I personally benefited just by knowing her and having her as a friend. So I do want to leave the last few minutes with you, Lee, and want to thank everyone before everybody chimes off. Again, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being so beautiful, and just the most amazing, beautiful things that you've said. We appreciate your time. And Lee, we're celebrating you today. Take it all in. And congratulations on this wonderful new edition and this 10-year anniversary. And it's just been a journey to be able to collaborate with you on this. So take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Adriana. I just, again, want to thank everybody. This wouldn't have happened without all of you, without Adriana, without listening to Spirit guiding you, Adriana, and all of you beautiful souls who resonated with the material and want to bring it also to the masses. And I find it interesting when we originally wrote the book, I say we, Spirit, 10 years ago, near-death experiences were just kind of getting out into the world. It was still fringy, it was still new agey, it was still out there. You kind of whispered that you had a near-death experience. 10 years later, there are massive YouTube channels, there are movies about them, which, by the way, full intention, if you all can hold that intention that this book gets to the big screen, because that's how more and more people, it's not about accolades and awards and getting to #1, which, by the way, the reason why we want that is because then more people get to read it, more eyeballs get on the book, on the material. Soothing suffering. People are suffering out there, and if we as a unit, as a collective, can help people just a little bit ease that suffering, then that's our job. So thank you all.
Congratulations, Lee. We love you so much. You can unmute and say your final words. And thank you for joining us in this celebration. We love everybody. Thanks for your support.
Love you.
Thank you, everyone. And if you haven't reviewed the book, if you could do the review, I'd so appreciate it.
Yes, do a review on Amazon. We'll send you guys a link. Much
Thank
love,
you.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Keep shining that light bright.